folks, and welcome to Tinker Tailor's Soldier Fry here on the mighty Loading Ready Run Video Entertainment Network. My name's Ian Horner. What does a Let's Try program means? Well, it's not instructional, it's not educational, but it is going to be, something. It's a guaranteed good time, I believe I said at one point. We're gonna make something new. At least new for me. I've never baked a cheesecake before. In fact, I don't generally like cheesecake because cheesecake is one of those foods that you can get, or you can read on a menu, or someone can say, "Hey, would you like some cheesecake?" And you have no certainty what you're going to be getting in the end. Is it going to be a Philadelphia-style cheesecake? Is it going to be a Chicago or New York-style cheesecake? Is it baked, or is it just a bunch of cream cheese that's kind of pushed together and flavored with blueberry? Is there crust on the bottom? Is there fruit on top? Who knows? So I generally try to avoid cheesecake unless I can see it with my eyes. No, that is a baked cheesecake, and that is something that's not going to make me retch. Jubail 1. Sorry, you were a little bit farther away than normally. We got some new setup here in the kitchen. I'm liking it, actually. What makes the Cheesecake Basque, they ask, though? Well, it's made in the Basque style. What's the Basque style? I hear you already ticket-typing away. The Basque style of cheesecakes are a style of cheesecake with that burnt black caramelized top. And that can be done a number of ways. I mean, you can sprinkle some extra sugar on top. You can just bake at an extra high temperature. We're just going to be going the route where we bake at a fairly high temperature and hope that it blackens up on us properly. Cheesecake is custard pie. Alton says so. I'll accept no other argument. Dark Morford, you're probably not wrong on that, except we'll be making a pie today then, which bakes its own crust. If you want to follow along, I don't have the link here with me, but you know what? Actually, with the power of the internet, let's bring it up for you here. Just one cookbook. We're looking for their Matcha Basque cheesecake. Oh yeah. I'm feeling lucky, I say to Google and no one else ever. Here we go. Whoa. We having troubles? There we go. There's your link. Chat, do with it as you will. Also want to thank, while I've got the screen up there, 2 Senses, who subscribed for 49 months. I'm always here for any time of cheesecake. So, yeah, let's, shall we just get started with this thing here, and, best is the short, no-bake style with cherry pie filling on top. Jubail, you and I could not be any more different on that. I absolutely can't stand the no-bakes, and that's a lot to do with what it does to my stomach. The unconverted cream cheese. Baking it somehow makes it better on my body. Let's head on over to we're in the booth. Gameplay left. There we go. Hi, now you're over here. I've got my laptop here because I realized I've got all the other devices I would normally keep my recipe on currently occupied, allowing you to see me and to see what's going on down here. So, we have a spring-form pan, which is 9 inches in diameter, and definitely meets the 3-inch deep requirement for this particular recipe, because what's going to happen is we're going to get a lot of rise as it bakes, not because it's rising due to the baking powder or baking soda or anything like that, just because it's going to get hot, it's going to get larger, and so we're going to want to have a little bit of we want to have room for that to have it contained. And this 3 or 4 inches looks like it's going to be more than enough here. If you are following along at home with the recipe, you will note that it says to use a 6-inch pan, and this is a much larger pan, which means we're going to have to double the recipe, which, in my mind, fine. It just means we're going to have more cheesecake at the end of things. So bear that in mind when I start yelling out numbers of ingredients and whatnot, and you won't be too confused, hopefully. The reason you got to double it for a larger pan is that, again, you've got to make sure that things bake in an appropriate time and rates, and want to make sure that things get Oh, wow. I've got the double cameras, double audio going. Thank you. Boop. There we go. That should take care of that one. We know which computer Ian has chat on. Oh, hey, thank you, Square.cube. I completely forgot. Now I can, because I am over here on this computer, I can bring up chat here. So I can see what you are all up to, even while I'm over here. Let's see here. Let's de-hugify my paprika recipe manager. Make smaller and now make new twitch.tv/loading. Ready run / not clips, but in fact, shot. I don't want a cat. That also applies to real life, in addition to what we're talking about here. Okay, can I squeeze that down anymore? But no, I can't, but I can get rid of the... No, that's the bigger sidebar. I want 0 sidebar. Why so much sidebar, computer? Why you do this to me? Okay, that should be good. Hey, there we go. I can see that Johnny Klitsch wants me to get a cat because they're awesome. And you do you, friend. I need me those feathers to have a good time with them. That came out. No, I don't want to take that one again. I'm just going to let it go. Okay, what do we need here? We're going to need 452 grams of cream cheese. This is slightly more than that, so we're probably going to, we're going to weigh it out. But we want this to be at room temperature because we're going to be mixing it and pushing it and smoothing it out, and that's going to, being at room temperature will make that easier. Plus, it will make the baking easier because we won't be coming up from a cold temperature. We are also going to need 200 grams of sugar, which means we will need my... Ooh, I cleaned everything else except for my filthy kitchen scale. So let's get that taken care of. Right now, get small prep bowl. Turn it on. Let it zero itself out. Okay. Get our granulated sugar. Nothing special here, but we need 200 grams of it. And if you want to know why I'm doing this in grams and not cups or other volumetric measurements, it's because that's ridiculous for baking. How are you supposed to know how much of something there is if you're just looking at a volumetric measurement? It could be packed, it could be light, it could be sifted. You won't know, but with weight, you can infer mass. With that, you know for sure. So we want 100 grams of this. If you're an American, you want to do baking and you want to not use grams, you can use ounces. It's also a measure of weight. But I like grams because they are, well, because they make sense to me. It's what I've grown up with. It's what science uses. And I received a recipe from an American friend of mine who may or may not be watching right now, but he... the only time I've ever seen someone use deciliter, or deciliter, not deca, deciliter as a measurement, which is 10 milliliters, I want to say? Yes, 10. Just, please don't, just say 10 mils. No one ever uses the intermediary ones. Or centiliters, that's another weird one. Okay, so we got our sugar. Sugar engaged. 4 large eggs at room temperature. Plus 2 large egg yolks, also at room temperature. It wasn't specified, but I'm assuming that the sugar is also supposed to be at room temperature, so we're going to leave it there as well. CL are great for bartending. Max, for that, I mean, you can still, I still would just use the milliliter for that. But, like, for example, where's my measuring cup? Where's my measure? Uh-oh. I'm going to need one of those here. 1 second. Whoop. Here's the cup I use for measuring drinks. Does it say 1 deciliter or 1 centiliter? No, it says 100 milliliters. That's all we need. All right. Well, we got the oofs. We got the eggs at things. We need 6 grams of matcha. Now we're going to need another smaller bowl for that. And I'm just going to need to grab my matcha pack from over here. Just off camera. Need beverages. Drawer. There's a good prep bowl for that. Sit down, zero that out. Zero that out. Thank you. Just call me the Terror. Okay. Wow. Seems like a small amount of matcha. A little bit of matcha goes a long way. That said, this matcha is pretty old, so it's probably only good for baking right now. Oh boy, 2014. Yeah, that's super old. Let's not think too much about that. How much do we need? 6 grams. Like, you'd be surprised how much 6 grams actually is when you're dealing with a powder like this. Yep. Powders don't go off. No, they don't go off, Johnny, but they do lose aroma, and that's why you want to cycle your spices. Let's see here. 6 minutes. 6. So we just need 1 more gram there. We don't want our we don't want silica gel in our cheesecake. Matcha analog doesn't have to be fresh, but it should be, or it's better. I mean, it is finely ground green tea leaves. Ooh. So just think of it that way. Like I can smell that in the air now that I've tapped that off, but it's it is going to have the intended effect, I believe, of making things slightly bitter and definitely green tea flavored. All right, then we'll need some cake. Do I have cake flour, or do I have to drop into the all-purpose? I think that this is, well, it's 12.28. So if anyone knows their bulk barn codes, you can find it pretty easily. That smells like powdered milk. Probably bought that for the gulab jamun, actually, now that I think about it. What other white powders do I have up here? Oh, and this time I did it right. Cake flour. Good for me. Grab another tiny bowl. Zero it out. And 11 grams. This is good. This will make for a, hopefully, a better texture than the all-purpose. But it probably doesn't matter one way or another. Okay. And how many grams is that? 11 grams. That's too much. Well, look at that. Isn't that interesting to see the similar size of these two powders and the utter difference in the amount that there actually is of that. 11 grams. So we need to take 6 grams out. Why I specified that? As if I could. Oh yeah, that feels like about 6 grams. Come on. The precision on these scales leaves a bit to be desired, but it's good. I've been reading out the one-time amounts. Yo, you bet I have. Okay, interesting thing about this recipe. Thank you for pointing that out, Dark Marford, is that the recipe program I'm using, Paprika, does a really good job if you only have a single unit in the unit column. And it will double one of the units, but not both the units. So yeah, you're right. We need to take that up to 22 grams. Okay. Hey! Oh, hell. 22. And F23 is fine. He says, getting impatient with his own weighing. Okay, we can put that back. Then let's get back to... Actually, I'm going to smooth that back to a one-time scale. And then I'll just do the units in the head. So, yeah, we need 200 grams of sugar, which means we need to add another 100 grams of that. Jeez. Double our bowl. Zero it out. Boop. 102. Great. Let's take that up to 200. Oh, wow. Cool art like that. I didn't know that the Bulk Barn website lets you search by product number. I mean, that's a really good service to have when you've forgotten what you bought years ago. But yeah, buttermilk powder. Good to know. Non-instant. 200 grams of sugar. So another 100 grams is what we want. That's a lot of sugar. But I mean, this is a decadent dessert. So one really shouldn't be surprised how much sugar goes into a lot of our desserts. And so the question is, should we cut back on the sugar in it? No! Don't cut back on the amount of sugar in the recipe. Just eat less of it if you're concerned about the sugar content. One of the reasons it tastes good is because of the amount of sugar. Don't adjust the ratio, just adjust the final amount. Okay, back to the matcha. So the matcha, we know how much was in there, because we'd done that before we got to the thing. So that means matcha is, we need another 6 grams of matcha, which is probably going to be all my matcha, now that I think about it. Which is good, because as we know, this matcha is old and needs to be used in something. If you have your portions, you're eating less. You can have twice as much, says Johnny Glitch. That is exactly the kind of logic I'm going for here. 6 more. Slight drumming. Oh, is it even gonna... It's not even gonna... Click over to 6! Ah! We did it! Not even off by 1. First time, every time. Next. So we've got the matcha, we've got the cake flour, which we properly did. Wait, let's double check that again. We want 22 grams, not 11. Zero that out. 22 grams. Looks good to me. Well, we'll leave it in that bowl now, and we can use this bowl for something else. Okay, flour, cornstarch. That's what it can be used for. Cornstarch is back here. Whoop, whoop. I guess just Agent Smith, I guess none of us have been funny about matcha yet. Cornstarch, 12 grams. Now we are not substituting for flour. We want the proper texture. 9. That's what we just need. Come on. 3 more grams. 13. Let's take out a bit. 12. Boom. Done and done. Okay. And we've got finally 473, which is 440 heavy cream. Again, room temperature. Now, speaking of temperature, just want to make sure... kosher salt. This... Got the good friend. Salt filler. Not the Alton Brown official version, but that's okay. I got it on my own, probably from the place where he found it, or wherever his set dressers get them. This recipe is subbing cornstarch and cake flour for pastry flour. That's an interesting one. Okay, let's see here. And, oh, 1/8 of a teaspoon. It only gives me volumetric readings there, but I think that's fine. We can deal with it. How much gram is that? 2 grams, 4 grams. I'll take it. And just because I was thinking about this earlier. Do I want to add some unmarked vanilla extract? I think with the matcha, I don't want to. So I'm going to say we put the vanilla away for this week. So normally I am just a fiend with that vanilla. All right. So let's get cooking. Which means we need to start making the temperature hotter. And this one wants 450 with a convection oven. I don't have a convection oven, but I do have an oven that gets me to 475. So let's send that to the moon. Just a second here. Gotta scroll back for a second. Yeah, there we go. Preheat the oven to 475. If your oven doesn't get hot very well, you can use it at the hottest temperature. Yeah, I don't need to worry about that. Oven rack, I'm going to check the middle. We're at middle. I think we could be higher. Yeah. Let's just check our clearance. Good, that'll probably help us blacken things. Okay. Next what we need to do is prepare our cake pan, which means lining it with our good friend parchment paper. Other brands of parchment paper are available, but Kirkland makes big fat rolls that means I don't have to buy it very often. And I think we might even be able to get away with just using one sheet. The recipe, again, recommends getting 2, but I think that's mainly because they're worried about you not being able to get all the parchment in there and have a full seal. And in fact, we might have that problem here. Let's find out. Push it down in, and oh, that's super close to the top edge. But you know what? I think it's good enough that I'll take it. I think I'll take it. Yep, so let's click up that spring form, make sure everything's high enough. Yeah. Getting up to the edge of the pan, I'm going to take that risk. So let's do that. Let's do some folding. Let's make this pretty, if we can. Move that over. You know what? Rather than folding it, I'm just going to crush it in. Push it. And it gets the edge like that. Push, push, push. And then we're going to give us a trim job. Well, rather than a trim job, let's just fold everything over the edge. Thusly. What I don't want to do is get the parchment paper touching the upper racks of the oven. So I don't want it burning again. But yeah, Arclight, we're not setting the bottom of that pan just yet, but we're gonna get there soon. I have also had incidents, so thank you for the warning. Okay, I think that'll do. I think this will hold the line. Just pop it out. And then put the pan bottom back in the spring form. Part of the reason I want to say that I chose to go with the doubled recipe is because I tried to buy myself a smaller ring form pan when I was out getting the grocery items today, and I couldn't find one that was smaller. So I figured, well, geez, we'll just use what we've got, and it'll be fine, right? It'll be fine. And this is looking fine. This is going to be fine. That's why you don't use a spring form for cheesecake. Not a bad idea, Dark Morford. Whatever gets you through the cook. Okay. Did I mention this is my first cheesecake? Got a lot of talking out of my ass to do today. Okay, cake pan lined. Oven, preheating. Cuttlefish Man, make sure the oven liner doesn't catch on fire. That's why we're doing the fold over, so that doesn't catch on fire. So it doesn't touch the elements. Style. Like in that TCSF a while ago. All right, next step. We need to overlap. We did overlap. Removable bottom. Yes, yes. I know how to use a springform cake pan. To make the batter, make sure the cream cheese is at room temperature. It is. Press down the cream cheese to make it soft. It is. Combine cream cheese with the sugar by rubbing the mixture with a spatula against the bowl. Now we're into it. Now we need a bowl. Let's go with... This bowl seems like it's going to be our best bet. It's going to have high sides, which we're going to want for the pushing of the cream cheese. Baked cheesecake is pretty tough. There's a reason most home cooks don't bother. I mean, probably right. Yeah, a lot of people are lazy and don't do things that are worthwhile. But for me, it's just I don't like baked cheesecake at all. Just do not want. Right, so we need one of these right away, because that amounts to 250 grams. And then we're going to be looking to get up to 450. Yeah, 450 seems good. So let's get that on there. Oops. Equal 450. So 224. So there's going to be just a little bit of cream cheese there that maybe I can put on a bagel or something. Let's see how good I am. 224. So I feel like if I give this a cutting board, these, let's see if I slice right about here, that's going to be where we want to be. Cool. Hi, what's this blue BS underneath here? Is there cardboard in these now? BS. $197. So we're gonna need basically all of this here. Let's see. Get on there. Good enough for me. 219. You'll do. Into the bowl with you. Ah! Good thing I cleaned up the entire kitchen before today's show. Ah, it helps there. It helps retain its shape when it's warm. Interesting. Yeah, I think I mentioned earlier, but I don't cream cheese often, so consider this Ian's learning experience. Get in. Scrape some of that off with the spatula. Go. And where's my other one here? Unwrap. Matt Mitchell 45. So which recipes are you using that require water baths? I was wondering why this one honestly didn't request a water bath. But again, it's the first. This is the let's try of this recipe. It seems to work. Seems to work well enough for people to publish it. So too bad throwing away foil like that too. Feels like it should be good foil. Oh, good. I can turn around and double check on the instant replay when necessary. Okay, so we are now mixing it up. So we want to press down the cream cheese, then add the sugar. Run it around until the cream cheese will become fluffy and smooth as the granules gradually disappear. Well, we'll see about that. Half that there to start with. Let's push it down. Ugh. Ugh. Sprayed in the face by cream cheese and butter, or sugar. What a wonderful way to start the day. Okay, this isn't going to take much effort at all. Let's just get all that in there. If I had a hand mixer, this would be easier. Maybe? One of the things in reading about these recipes, dang it, gotta watch out for that. One of the things I was reading about was that you don't want to overmix these because you don't want to form too many air bubbles inside. And that's one of the things that a stand mixer or a hand mixer really will add into the mix, is a lot of air. Oh wow, this is really coming together like butter. And it's smelling like cream cheese, that's for sure. Good God, look at that. Yeah, no need for a stand mixer whatsoever. That just comes together. Okay, so let's check for lumps. Seems that dear spatula, please do not shed silicone into my food. These aren't lumps, those are bubbles. Or are they lumps? They are lumps of cream cheese. Slow, methodical pushing is what's necessary here. My opinions on stand mixers may change over time, but for the moment I feel pretty confident in what we're doing today. Oh yeah, that's the lumpiness we don't want. I see you. You don't want it to go too hard, again, for a lack of bubbling. We do want to scrape this down. Oops. If I scrape it down, I mean, let's get another spatula involved. Keep that spatula clean. Let's grab a plate to this other spatula on. And we can take our time in this too, because we've got to wait for this oven to preheat before we can actually start any sort of baking going on. And what will we do while we wait for the bake to occur? Well, I've got things planned. Yeah, see, there's a few more of those lumps in there. Don't like it. I mean, it's probably fine if we get a few in there. Oh, James's team took second place in Twitch Rivals. Good for him. Good job, James. I'm sure it was all you. Okay. And yes, I do have a stand mixer if I ever want to get that done. In fact, it's right down here, underneath the underneath the mixing. But it's big and loud and a Kenmore, and I love it. Kenwood Chef. Probably, I'm guessing that that's a name that's probably familiar more to the Brits in the audience. By the way, other mixers are available, but I do like my Kenwood from the 80s. Too loud for the mics. I mean, we've had some pretty noisy things on here before, and we've done okay by it. Okay, that I think we're gonna call. That is definitely not lump free, but we're getting there. This sort of thing that I'm doing here is a sort of thing that's going to absolutely introduce bubbling. Okay, I think that's as good as I want to get. That's as good as I want to get. I think it's time for us to move on. So let's scrape the edges off that. Get those incorporated into the mix. Stand name KitchenAid. Oh yeah, no, we're with the tap-a-tap on the counter also going to be occurring. Hold on, I just want to wipe my hands off on something. I don't want to use my my apron too much. Okay, so we got the cream cheese in there. The next one we need is, out of the 3 eggs, you only need 2 whole eggs and 1 egg yolk. So we need 4 whole eggs and 2 egg yolks, and then we whisk them into the bowl. There's my whisk. Whisk. Most metal whisk, because it's all metal. It's great. Eggs. Yep. Come on out, eggs. So let's just add our eggs to the bowl here, and we can add the bowl itself. Slowly and gradually add the beaten egg 2 to 3 separate times. Aha! This bowl is probably too small. Just a wee bit too small. Oh, Oven's ready. And too many knives. That's actually the thing. We want to avoid bubbles again to keep the texture smooth. Ooh. Why am I doing that? Who knows? 3, and then 4 whole eggs. Okay. Tiny fork plus bowl is the best way to beat eggs. I won't say no. That's usually the way I'm going to. Okay, this is where we got to pay attention. Or separate. God, that's a terrible crack for separation, but let's just go with the flow anyway. Whoop. Oh boy. Whew. That was almost a disaster. We held on to it. Let's see if I can transfer over. There we go. Cut off some of the albumin there. Scrapey, scrapey. Come on. Come with me. There we go. Boop. Egg yolk. And finally, whoop. Hey, Globby. Mr. Globby. Globby, globby. Egg. We've successfully egged. Maybe I'll meringue that up later. Make an egg fizz, which contains no egg. All right, and then we will whisk that up. Oh, homogeneous mix. Whisk them well. Crack, crack, crack the egg into the bowl. I am a chicken from the kitchen. And I ain't kidding. Although, nothing is written. I'm going to be proud of my egging. Egg, 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 egg. Okay, slowly and gradually add the beaten egg 3 separate times. Do not add more egg until the batter is smooth and no lumps, blending completely and thoroughly. That's pretty easy instruction. Let's begin the egging. First egging. This is an interesting texture we're creating here. Wow, look at that. Yeah, this is important. You end up with chunks of scrambled egg in your cake. Thank you, Arclight, because that's the last thing we want. Oop. Get in there. Yeah, you can see the strings of egg. Oh, what? Can you imagine? Or not even imagine, just thinking about how that sugar all just disappeared into this gloppy mix. We're not even done yet. Egg the second. This egg content is how we summon Wheeler. The man loves eggs. The man loves his popcorn. The man is what I would call an honorary decadent. Or if ever the decadent man needed a nemesis, Benjamin Wheeler. Popcorn sounds good. Oh, after the Worms game last night, Alex turned us on to this Chinese method of making popcorn in these cast iron teardrop shaped things. I know that Mythbusters, which I found also Alton Brown guested on for that episode, did a thing on it, and I watched their thing, and they did it wrong. They did it bad. Especially love the fact that Alton was the one saying, "Oh yeah, no, if you didn't screw this up, this would be really good." But, I mean, Discovery is not exactly the bastion of accurate and slow programming that is Twitch.tv right now. Yes, if you're looking for some nice, relaxing content that will put you at ease and rub off the hard edges of a day in the world, why not enjoy gaming? Brown made lasagna in a dishwasher. Lord Hosk, I don't remember seeing that, but I do believe that he would do that. All right, but yeah, now Discovery is Yahoo. So I guess, wait, Yahoo, AOL, and Discovery Network are all coming together. It's like we're finally actually able to consolidate the suck in the world and just put it all in one avoidable place. It's just a shame there's so many jobs that go along with that. Multi-tools, huh? All right. That looks good to me. That's well blended. That's well blended, I think. History Channel and TLC are still independent. Oh, well, that's a thing. Oh, right, Discovery bought HBO. That was the other one. So they've got some good in there. No good in them. I feel it. Eggs and blend well. Take out a small portion of the batter to a clean bowl. Transfer about 2 scoops of the batter. Sift the matcha a little bit at a time as you stir and blend together. Then sift more and continue until you finish sifting and blending in all the matcha. Can do. You know what? Let's just use egg bowl. Yep. Give it a little bit of a wipe. Oh, yeah, no, how it's made. That's Ian's bedtime TV. Nothing like turning that on when you want to just zone out and maybe... Okay. Yes, Arclight is correct. This is what will keep your matcha from being tiny matcha balls that you encounter while eating said cake. I'm just going to measure that out by eye. Oh, how sifty do we want it? Let's get sifty. Boop. Is this a good idea? Absolutely it is. Okay. Matcha in the sifter. Sift in the matcha. Stir in the matcha. That's probably too much matcha to start with. So we're going to have to do some real work. Look at those globules. Look at how I messed this up already. Yep. I might need to get the whisk and see if that helps at all. I don't think it will, but... Thankfully, we can mix with impunity here because we're in a situation where we don't have any flour yet in it. So there's no gluten forming, so things aren't going to get tough. It's just mixing more this... Some matcha and egg and sugar. That's starting to look better. Really want to attack those tiny balls when you get like this. Okay, let's sift in a bit more. That seems much more. Yeah, that's easier to deal with. There we go. Really smelling like green tea here now, which is good because that's what we're cooking with. Okay, let's get a bit more. Whisk. Whisk. And whisk. Sift and whisk. Sift. I think we're just about done. Whisk. Push these down. Hopefully that'll just go right through when I rinse that out. But for now, let's whisk that in. Whisk this in. How does that look to us? I'd say that's pretty smooth looking. It's not a lot of, like, there's some bubbles occurring, but not a lot of granules. There we go. Happy with that. Next up. Rest the eggs, take out the batter. Okay, match it up. Blend until smooth. Transfer the batter back to the main batter. Then blend until you have a smooth consistency. Stick that down there, and we'll bring this friend out to do some scrapey. Get all that goodness. What does this food say to oxidants? Not today. Green tea, like Antifa, but for oxidants. Yeah, let's just use the spatula again. Scrape down the sides there. Get the internal. This isn't working. Yes, it is. I don't know. We're cooking. We're cooking. Ain't nobody gonna stop us. Oh, look at that. Look at that color come together. I have half a mind to leave it like this, just so that we can get a, on the off chance that we'd get this beautiful sort of pattern, but I know that's not going to happen. So we'll just have to make it uniform. A delicious uniform gray. Just the color you want in your cheesecakes. Marbling, that's the word I was looking for, Hosk. Thank you. Normally that's a word I use for meat. So, not proto-meat or proto-meat derivatives, like eggs and egg byproducts. I mean, yeah, you know, milk and eggs, that's technically just proto-meat. Would have made for a much different version of the Macross series if that had been what they were always talking about. Proto-meat, proto-nico. Less beige, more pea wet. Yeah, that's definitely the color we got going here. We still haven't put cream in here, folks. I can't even believe that. Okay. We blended the batters. Those look blended. Next up, we need to sift the cake flour and cornstarch into the batter as you stir and blend together. Then sift more and continue to finish sifting until blending in the flour. Good boy, good time. And then heavy cream. Where's the salt go? You know what? I'm going to say we put the salt in now? When did it want the salt? Let's get that in there. Salt goes inside me. Chat provides the salt. Generally gets mixed in with the flour when you watch baking shows. Yeah, that seems to be the case. Let's crunch it down a bit here. So it can get in with, like, if we're going to try sifting this, it's not going to go through. So let's, we'll just stir it in after the fact. But let's add the cornstarch to the cake flour. And then put the pussy on the chain wax. And then start stirring things in. Come on. I think I'm going to use we're going to use our good friend, the whisk for this. Because I like the whisk for making sure that we eliminate lumpage or as much as possible. But we'll be back to visit you later, I'm sure. Yeah, that's incorporation. There is no good method, folks. You're just going to have to wait and watch. These wee bits of flour. Okay, now we're starting to get to ball status. Means I guess I should be saying that things are getting a little bit hinkly. What's up, chat? Check out Corpline here on the Loading Ready Run Video Entertainment Network. It's a podcast, so I don't know what to tell you. But... oh, right. That's looking mighty good to me. Yep, everything that's coming up is just an air bubble. So let's add our remaining powders. What powders? And scrape up just the extra powder off the side there. And then let's whisk in the salt. Salt. It belongs in more things than you think. What's my opinion on hand crank sifters? Square.cube, I've used one, but I don't own one. because I don't think I need to own one, because I can hand sift with this very fine mesh strainer, which is like I'd rather have a second hand mesh strainer than a cranky sifter. Crankable, not cranky. I mean, given how much I'd use it, it'd probably get cranky. Right. Heavy cream. While you stir, mix until it's combined. Add salt. Well, what? We jumped the gun, chat. Jump the gun just a bit. Okay. Where's my... I'm going to use this not as a measuring device, but because it has a spout. Because I want to make sure I have the correct amount of cream, which is, again, double the previous amount, but... So, 440 milliliters. Actually, yes, we are going to be using this device to get pretty close to 440. Okay. And 4/5 of the way. There is not enough cream in there to think about, so let's just turn off the scale, throw that to the side here for a bit, and gradually add heavy cream while I stir. Let's do that. I imagine this is going to come out rather nice. So there's a couple ways that you can have the Basque cheesecake. We're probably only going to go to the point where we take it out of the oven and get it to start cooling, so we'll have to check Twitter for the final results, because once we get it out of the oven, it's going to be about some people recommend about 3 to 4 hours of cooling time on a rack before you even want to look at it. And at that point, you can go ahead and start eating it if you like your cheesecake to be a little bit moist and possibly even runny in the center, is what I've been told. And given that we're looking at a bigger pan, I get the feeling we are going to end up with a possible runny middle. But apparently, we'll even be it'll be noticeably jiggly near the center when we take it out. So look forward to that. But on top of just letting it sit for 3 hours on the countertop cooling, you can also leave it in the fridge overnight, and that will give you an even firmer texture, apparently. So probably what I'm going to end up doing with mine, but you know what? We'll see how I feel in 3 hours' time. You know, when I'm nearing the end of the day, go into the fridge for some midnight snack, and there's a big old cheesecake in there, full of green tea and caffeine. Okay, that seems to be it for the cheesecake itself. So I'm going to, again, wash my hands a bit, or at least give them a good rub, because they're starting to feel a little bit coated. Whole cheesecake midnight snack. Snow cookies, did you see how much sugar we put into this? There's no way I could entire cheesecake midnight snack this. Okay, next step is getting it in here. It is in the spring form. Spring form is set. The recommendation is to pour it all in one go, because you don't want to stop-start, because that will add possible bubbles. So let's bang some more of those bubbles to the top for no reason. And then let's do a single pour. Are we ready? There's no going back at this point. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. In we go. Oh yeah, that's looking good. I need to step away to grab my spatula to scrape up. But we're not stopping. Everything's going fine, no stopping. Smooth. Smooth. And that, I'm sure, is one way of doing it. Or it's how you do it. You know, we'll... depending on how prescriptive you'd like me to be during these shows. Okay, good. Oh. Your last name is Basque? Big Falcon. Big Falcon. Last name is Basque, but never tried the food? Neither have I! So we're all going to learn today. Oh god. It's unbalanced. I'm wondering if I have anything vibration-y that I can use to more out of it, but we probably don't need to. So that means let's take some time to really fold down the edges here. Future TTSF build idea vibration table? Maybe. I'm absolutely going to need to shop at one of these points. Ask Ichiban, he's got a giant one. Yeah, I bought it for him. Okay. Nothing more to do but stick it in the oven, right? Let's get that going. Boop. Yep, you can see the oven from here. So let's now the other thing it wants is for me to not waste any heat in that oven. But we're looking at, they're suggesting 30 minutes. Keep on the eye on the cheesecake, but we're going to put the cheesecake in the oven. And then I think it might be time for a short break, actually. Let's do that. All right, so here we go. Oven open. Cheesecake in. Safety. All right, folks, like I said, we're going to take ourselves a short break before, wait 1 second. 30-minute timer. Get your grocery. We're going to take a short break. You should all get up, stretch your fluids, swap your legs, whatever it is you do during a break. And we're going to be back with, you know what? I might make us a cocktail when we come back while we wait. But for now, get up, do the things. We're on break. Don't go away. More Tinker Tailor Solder Fry after this. We're back with more Tinker Tailor Solder Fry here on the mighty Loading Ready Run Video Entertainment Network. My name is Ian Horner. I am your host. And today we're cooking a Matcha Basque cheesecake. And I've noticed some people in the chat asking what makes it Basque? Because matcha is Japanese green tea. And he goes and looks down and Max the Fourth just straight up answers the question. The cheesecake style, burnt on the top. Yeah, that's basically it. It's a burnt caramelization on the top, and possibly sometimes runny in the center. Though that's more the style of a restaurant. I want to say that made this type of cheesecake popular. Right now we're waiting for it to bake, and we've eaten up 6 minutes. I don't know what you did, but I cleaned dishes most of the time here, so you can see that there. There's the sink. Now you know. So yeah, why not a cocktail? Because this is always good fun. I don't know if I have done my, I don't know if I've done my smoked cocktails on air yet, but I think that's absolutely what we're going to do. And for that, I need to go just grab something else. Don't go away. I'm still here. I just need to grab my soldering board, or, well, it's my hot board is what it is. You may recognize this from other episodes of Tinker, Tailor, Solder, Fry. Get soldering detritus off of it. We're not going to be putting food directly on it, so have no fear. But we do need some protection. What else do we need? I need to move this camera for just a second. So hey, join me in the booth for a second while I move that camera out of the way so I can access my freezer. Which has, importantly, not our shaker, but our thinger. I don't know what it's called. It's half a shaker. You can call it half a shaker, half shaker. Let's get 2 ices, and let's get 3 more ices in that shaker for adding flavor. All right. I might even... Nah, we don't have to shake this time. Right, let's get these popped out and ready. Probably want to rinse those too in a second. And let's bring y'all back to the zone. Enter the zone. Okay, so we're going to set this aside for a moment. Let's not leave those on the hot oven. So, tonight we are going to be making a smoked old-fashioned. That will contain Alberta Premium Rye, which I keep in a much nicer bottle because the bottle it comes in looks real cheap and it's plastic, but the whiskey's fine. The whiskey's great. And from Seattle's Heritage Distilling Co., back the last time I was actually able to be in a different country, high altitude brown sugar bourbon. This is really, really good stuff. And that's the alcohol. We'll also be adding a few dashes of the bitters with the clothes too big for its body, Angostura. It's a great tweet about the guy who puts the labels on these bottles. Wakes up every morning being like, one of these days it's gonna be the day I'm gonna make the labels the proper size. Yeah, fuck it. And smoked. Right. Where does the smoke come from? Well, the smoke comes from smoke. How else are you gonna have a smoked old-fashioned? Get our glasses here. Nice big rocks glass. And let's get some wood. This is MasterChef Maple. Other boards that are used for smoking fish are available. But, yeah. What we're going to do is we're going to make some smoke. So you want to get this to a point where it's really... You can really smell it and you can see it. There we go. And then you just boop that over top. Going nice and good until it looks like it's igniting, and boop, and that's going to create our smoke flavor. Now let's very quickly make our way into Alcohol Town. We need about, this is for 2 people, so we're going to go with 100 mils of each, just for ease of... Pour it down the ice tower, get that nice and cold. Do the same thing with eel bourbon. Maybe we'll go with about half as much there. 70 mils, that should be enough. Okay, because that's very sweet stuff too. All right, there we go. Let's get a couple down. You can get very fancy with the bitters on this one if you like, but I like the classic flavor of the Angostura. I've actually started putting it in regular old carbonated water just as a flavoring. It's quite nice. Yes, Corey, they're just about ready. Okay. That should be good and mixed. Where's my... Ooh, I just had some on my thingy, and that's going to taste real good. Okay, I'm going to rinse the ice quickly because our ice, for some reason, our freezer likes to make our ice bad. And then, let's get on, it's in there. Now the ice, if you get it in there quick enough, will actually cool the air and keep some of that smoke inside. Okay, that's one. Oh god, did I mix? Yes, I did mess that up. Holy moly. Oh well. Perfection. And let's send that one to Corey.
Thank you.
Send this one to myself. Oh my god, yes. It's been a while since I've had one of these, but Oh, ooh, levels of flavor there. That starting with the brown sugar is just beautiful, and then you get the smoke on the nose. It's almost like drinking a campfire. And interestingly, different woods are going to have different flavor profiles. So it's I highly recommend, if you got a blowtorch, to enjoy making some fire in your home for that. All right. Let's see here. How are we doing time-wise? We got 17 minutes left. That didn't take nearly long enough. I guess we can answer some questions if we've got any here. Put that to the side. What else can I cook while I'm in here? Or, actually, let's take you on a tour of some of my favorite kitchen appliances. You've probably heard me talk before about how much I love my butter bell. This is my butter bell. And what this is a little piece of crockery that you fill partially with salinated water, a brine, and the other side is a hollow container into which you place butter, which stays then room temperature, because this just stays out in your counter. But when you put it down in there, it creates a seal, meaning that it's like a buttered dish, only it keeps the butter even better preserved. And you can use lurker spine, blue chloroplast. This is non-salted butter, but you can use salted butter if you like. You don't taste, none of the brine flavor gets into the butter because oil and water mixture doesn't, they stay apart. But yeah, that's one of my favorite pieces of technology. Cheap, and I love to get these as gifts for people when I know they like butter, or if they know they don't have them. There was a question here in the chat. I'm gonna go down here, taking questions. What's your preferred type brand of whiskey for sipping, says Rogue07. And I've really come around to Japanese whiskeys. I used to be a huge Islay fan. Back in my youth, it was Lagavulin 18 was the not the chase whiskey, but that was the fancy whiskey that I always went for. And these days, I think it's a toss-up for my favorite sipping whiskey between Yamazaki's, I want to say, the coffee malt. Coffee, by the way, is referring to the type of still that's used to distill it, not that it tastes anything like coffee. And the malt is, because it's a 100% malted barley grain bill, I believe. Nice. Let's see here. What else was I going to say about that? Yes, it was a toss-up between the coffee malts and a local whiskey called, well, they call the distillery Glen Saanich. Well, they call the distillery Divine. Their main whiskey is Glen Saanich, which is a Scottish style whiskey of locally produced grains and water. But you know what? Actually, let me just grab it because I want to read out what's on it. There we go. This is my favorite whiskey, and I do believe they ship. I think they even ship internationally, or they will once we can do that now. But check out, is their website on thing? I should also get them to be a sponsor somewhere if I can. Divine, D-E-V-I-N-E, Ancient Grains. And they describe this as, well, ancient varieties of grains of modern barley and wheat. It's using organic barley, spelt, emmer, korosan, and acorn. E-I-N-K-O-R-N. All ancestors of modern grains. And it is... It's kind of like... It's like drinking a caramel in some ways. It's just absolutely delightful. Let's see here. Hibiki is also really good too. Let's see here. Answers that. There were some more. There was another question in there. Oh, someone asked if I'd finished Die Buster. And yes, I have finished Die Buster. Yigoki, yes, and that was so good. I don't want to spoil it. I can't say much about it without talking about it, but I did not see the ending coming, and it really got me right in the feels. So I can't believe I'd slept on Die Buster, the sequel to Gainax's seminal Gunbuster, Aim for the Top, for over 20 years, it seems on that. Just got back in. Was that whether he prefers smooth or smoky whiskeys? It's, no, that was just what type of whiskey I enjoy sipping on. And, to answer your questions, I like smoky whiskeys as a sipping thing, but I also like smooth whiskeys. But yeah, if I'm cornered on the street, bottled to my head, yeah, I'm gonna say smoky first, I think, just because of the interesting thing about that. If I recall, I watched that because Tom Asdell mentioned it. I can't remember why it came up, Rogue. It's, I think it might have been that Tom mentioned it at some point. I do remember that they asked for my thoughts afterwards. So. Did I ever get around to watching the Wakako Zake J-Drum, Mrs. Lurkerspine? I have not, but I am interested in still at some point getting more eyes on that. I think I watched an episode just to check it out. But yeah, Wakakozake is great, great bar and food pornography from a Japanese perspective. Who's your favorite JoJo, asks Hexy Lexi. Favorite JoJo is absolutely Jotaro. That man got me into the JoJos. I ended up watching the first JoJo's Bizarre Adventure I watched was episode 1 of Stardust Crusaders. I don't hide this fact. I hate watched it. I hate watched the first episode because I thought, oh, JoJo, it's this weird show that nothing makes sense and it's super complicated and it's bad and I'm gonna watch it to make fun of it. And it turned out to be one of the best things I'd ever seen in my life. And so yeah, that marine biologist is a perfect gateway into that series. Let's see here. It's in the cooking question, but it's an Ian question. Mystic Man 89 asks, do you have a particular preference for keyboard switches? Yep, easy one there. Cherry greens. I haven't kept up on a lot of the newer mechanical switches that are out there because there's so many now, and the differentiation, the hobby's become a bit performative, and I'm loath to remain even a lurking part of the community, but but yeah, cherry greens are what I purchased for my first keyboard build that I did myself, and because I love the tactileness. I love loud clicks in my keys, and I really like having that extra force for push. So that was my choice for key switches. Let's see here. Jotaro was my intro too, but Jonathan is who I aspire to be as a person. Oh, heck, see, that's real good, because Jonathan... wait. Right, Jonathan, not Joseph. Because Joseph is who I think I aspire to be as a character, maybe not as a person. Leading question, but is there Japanese whiskey worth the import prices over closer distilleries? Absolutely, Saucemaster 5000. If you are in Canada or America, I can't speak for countries across any of the various ponds, but get yourself a bottle of the Nikka, that's Nikki, Nikka coffee malt, COFEY malt, MALT. And that's, like I said, probably my favorite, or one of my favorite Japanese. No, at this moment, it is my favorite Japanese whiskey. And it's extremely affordable for a mid to high tier whiskey in that it's I think in the 100 to it's under 200. If you're paying over 200 for it, you are absolutely overpaying in any currency. Yeah, keyboard switches. I'm less enamored by keyboard switches and more enamored by keycaps now. And the problem is a lot of the emphasis on keycaps is going on to the designs that go on the printing, and no one's doing double shot anymore. But also, I really liked some of the old style, I think DSA is one of them, with that really narrowing profile on the keys. It's really old school stuff. Used a keyboard with cherry greens for general typing and first-person shooters. They felt amazing. Agent Smith, I'm glad you had a similar experience there. Oh, not King or Able asks, what immersion circulator do you have? Well, not King or Able, I have two. One of them, which is currently in use, and one that I've actually packed since the move. And the one that I'm currently using is, I believe, the Kickstarter edition of the Nomiku 2.0, I think this is. It's, this is really just an ESP8266 with a screen and a cool rotary dial on it, with pump and heater. But it does a real good job of what it's supposed to do, and I never use the Wi-Fi. I just set it and forget it, as what it's supposed to do. The other one that I have, and maybe this is something for a future Tinker Tailor, is one of my own design that I made out of those coffee style urns, the big silver aluminum ones with the tap on it, the spigot. They percolate the coffee up. Bought that because of the percolation mechanism. So what I did is drilled a hole into it to put a thermocouple in so that I can measure the temperature as one does, and then just put a salad or a vegetable steaming basket over top of that burble area, because you take the pipe out. The burble area provides the natural convection that you need to get the water moving around within the vessel, which is important for immersion circulation. It's literally the second part of the term, and it worked great. I hooked it up to a Fuzzy Logic PID controller that I purchased from, I think, eBay, and it of unknown origin, but it did a great job calibrating the PID and the coffee maker to each other, and that served me well from around, I want to say, 2008 until just this year when I started mainlining that Nomiku recently. It's just that I don't have as much counter space in this kitchen as I previously had, so it's gotta go. What else we got here? Okay. So, Mika, nearby where you live? That's great, Forge Bold. It is the only option for Japanese whiskey, but that's your recommendation. I'll absolutely go for it. Yeah, Nikka is absolutely my favorite distillery in Japan, and one would hope that your favorite distillery also makes your favorite whiskey. One follows the other. Currently using cherry red, says Mystic Man, but 'tis more random chance, and I wish I could do a side-by-side comparison to find my flavor. You can buy those tiny little switch testers, but that just tells you one key out of many. It doesn't give you an option of how does it feel when I'm really trying to touch type. You know, when you are avoiding that bottom out feeling all the time. I've got cherry browns on a keyboard I got from work. I don't like them nearly as much, but I got the browns because apparently they're much quieter, and they're a little bit quieter. Goodness gracious, I messed up. I'm sorry. Cherry greens are my favorite easily available switch. The correct answer for which is my favorite switch is Alps. ALPS, Alps. They are the people who made the switches for the Macintosh lines of computers all the way back to the Apple IIc and the Apple II GS. There are a few variants on that. My favorite are the ones that the white Alps that they placed on the Apple desktop, the ADB Extended 2 keyboard, or the Enterprise, as it is colloquially known. Apparently Steve Jobs' most hated keyboard. He was saying someone presented him with an ADB2 extended for him to sign, and he said, "This keyboard represents exactly everything I hate about Apple right now." And then he takes a penknife out of his pocket and pops, I think it was the power key off, and said, "There, I fixed it," and then signed it and gave it back. They're some of my favorite keyboards. Our good friend, not our good friend, owner of DaringFireball.net, John Gruber, and I believe John Siracusa of Accidental Tech Podcast fame, both keep, I believe, extra copies of the ADB2 keyboard in their freezers or in their basement as replacements for when the ones that they're using eventually will die. And I also now have a backup of my ADB2 as well. Dark Morphin says, keep meaning to get one of the Unicomp Model M keyboards, just never got around to ordering one. Oh, yes! One day it'll come. I have a problem, Chet, with keyboards, because I love them. I don't like writing, but I do like using keyboards. And so I think it was last year Unicomp announced their not their Space Saver version, but I think it's 65% is the one. It's a version of the Model M that has the bucking spring keyboard switches, which are also amazing. But it's got your normal typing area, and it also includes the arrows and the 10 keyless. That's what I'm looking. It's a 10 keyless version of the Model M. That was supposed to be my 40th birthday present, and then guess what happened to the world? So yeah, eventually it will make its way to me, and I am patiently awaiting its arrival. What did Steve have against the power key rogue? I'm not entirely sure what his problem with the power key was. I think he just hated that it was way out in the corner and had a different it was a different type of key than the rest of the keys. Still use the same switch, but I like it. It's a great keyboard. It feels good, and if you take the time to remove the debouncing, not the debouncings, but the little rubber grommets, it's even louder. Great. What do we got? 26 seconds on the clock. This cake's got to come out, folks. It's not supposed to stay in there for any longer than it is. So let's get ready for the encakening, which means I need to make a loud noise and get my grate out. Okay, time's up. I'm gonna have a quick peek, and hopefully we will have something to take out and show you. Okay. It doesn't appear done. It doesn't appear done at all. So, one second while I rescue this. our secondary camera. Nope, that goes around. Oh, whoop, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Ah. Get in there. Good, stay. Let's take it out and have a look at what it looks like, and you might want to put it in for a bit more, maybe even around that top. I kind of want to leave it in for a bit longer, but I also want to give it a temperature check. Whoop. Okay, so that looks like apparently what it's supposed to look like. And the edges are looking right, but I think that's just a bit... I don't know. 1 second. I know that Serious Eats did a version of this recipe as well. And they actually gave me some information. Okay, if you love the gooey, oozy texture and bake for a less amount of time. 1 second. Here eats matcha. Wait, no, just Basque cheesecake. Because we're missing out on definitely some of the. I know you can't see it there. Nope, right there. We're missing out on some of the Basqueness of it, but you can tell it's definitely got that look to it. So let's have a look here. They say it's done. An instant read thermometer between 150, 65.5 and 68 degrees. Thank goodness these went on sale recently. If you do any cooking, I cannot recommend the Thermopens enough. Okay. Whoop. That's apparently done. But that is definitely gooey center. You know what? I'm going to crank this oven up to 500. And I'm going to put this back in for another, I want to say 10 minutes. There's a lot of differing opinions about how long these things are supposed to bake, and I get the feeling that this might just be some people like it this way and some people like it that way. Also, doubling the recipe probably increased the amount of time it's going to take. That's finished? Okay. Cheesecake will always make you think, is this done? Oh no. If it looks done in the pan, it's going to be overdone on the plate. Yeah, no, that's things you Arclight and Dark Morford, you are exactly right there. You know what? Everyone's saying that looks done. Temperature said it's right. Let's take it out. We don't need to put this back in. But I am curious about something. I'm going to try something here. Because we don't have that blackened top. I'm not going to do the whole thing. I do just want to see what happens when we give this a little hit with something to... Let's go. Well, that... God damn it. Not again. Just... Oh, good. The iOS camera is frozen. That's Oh, no, that's completely frozen. Well, that sure was a... Okay, and I can say that is not a success at all. That's not what we want on the top. So we've done an experiment. We have found something out. And that cheesecake will be just fine. Absolutely will be just fine. But, yeah. Boy, wasn't that fun. Nope, can't cancel that timer. And 3-hour timer. 1 sec.
3 hours and counting.
Oh, I'm glad I finally found a good Siri voice. I had to actually switch to Indian English. India style Indian. Broiler was not on Death Like Cats because that, yeah, we might need to broil it. I think you're right, Arclight, but I worry about that because of the crispiness on our parchment already leads me to believe that we're getting to the edge of temperature there. But you know what? It doesn't need a black top to be delicious. The black top is mostly cosmetic, from my understanding. But that said, that said, 3 hours is what it's going to take before we can find out what that's like. And unfortunately, I can't keep you all entertained for that long. So yeah, keep an eye on my Twitter feed at iHorner, or you can find out everything else I do over at tilty.house. That's tilty.house for links to Late Night Dub Fight, Corey's podcast, both of our Twitter feeds, our Twitch streams. Everything about what we do can be found there. That's if you want to find me when I'm not here. And I do a non-zero amount of things here. Coming up, though, is... oh, yes, coming up tomorrow at the time when it's happening is the Loading Ready Run Fan Jam, which is another one of those Magic the Gathering tournaments that they do, and we're all fighting each other. It's all lure folks, and they're going to have fun times. Excuse me. You can also go to loadingreadyrun.com/live to check out our schedule there. We've got links in the chat for that. Thank you, friends. What else should I mention? This stream is brought to you by your generous donations over at the website patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. That's patreon.com/loadingreadyrun if you want to subscribe to our Patreon. And of course, we want to thank those of you who are so generous as to show us your support here at twitch.tv/loadingreadyrun via your bits and your subscriptions. I'd like to personally recognize a number of you right now. Starting with Sasha Conist, who subscribed for 55 months. Thank you for your continued support. Fisticles comes in with their 13-month sub. Cheesecake. Sasha Conist is, I just got already. Erased Citizen, 55 months. Ooh, you love Ian cooking streams. Me too. They're a bit of a bee to set up, but when we get there, we get there. Got to thank 01 Thorn01 for 53 months of subscription. Thank you. Carvsma778 is a 49-month subscriber, more than 2 years total, with 2 years of it all in a row, uninterrupted. Sweet. I concur. Hush Rabbit has subscribed for 22 months. Thank you for continuing to be a part of the channel. Thank you to Crashor for 81 months of Cheesecake. Tally Tamale is here with 43 months of resubscription. Thank you for your support. Margie RG coming in at 48 months. Thank you as well for your continued support. The one called Stu has subscribed for 74 months. Craft all the things. I one at a time, please. Owen Thunderguns 01 is a 6-month subscriber, getting that half year in. Not Kane nor Abel, dropping 500 bits. Oh no, not again. Yes, again, we didn't. If there's one thing this stream is known for, it's being ever forward, never learning, and also lighting parchment paper on fire. Xanto69, 50 bits for the Ian. Thank you for those, and thank you, R Tycoon 2 those 53 months like this. And of course, eBlock sneaks in with 300 bits, always forward, sometimes learning, and always have a good time, I think, is what we're all about here. Yeah. Folks, thanks so much. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time. That's a fortnight. We will never see you in Fortnite made by Epic because I have some standards. But we'll see you in 2 weeks for more Tinker Tailor Soldier Fry with model building. I got myself a sweet little kit in the mail that's Gundam adjacent, but not an actual Gunpla. So that's going to be a fun build. And yeah, we'll see you around. As we say most times ever forward, never learning. Goodbye! Smooth. Featuring Rob Thomas from Matchbox 20.